Hi friends, welcome to episode number 4 for Purchase Requisitions Part 2. I'll strongly recommend you to check out the episode number 3 Purchase Requisitions Part 1 if you have not watched that particular video and then get back to this video. In this video, we will check out the other important functionalities related to purchase requisitions, how to manually release the purchase requisitions and how to process the purchase requisitions using request for quotation. And we'll also discuss about demand consolidation in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. With no further delay, let's quickly jump into today's topic. So let's get into the today's topic for purchase requisition part 2. So we will be covering about the process flow, which consists of already in the previous episode number 3 part 1 of purchase requisition. We discussed about how to automatically release the PR to PO. But in this episode, we will be discussing about the two scenarios, like how to convert the PR to PO manually. So that is an option to go and release the approved purchase requisitions every time your purchase requisition is created and approved. And we'll also quickly see how to convert a PR to a RFQ and fetch the price from the floated RFQ's quotes and then update it back in your purchase requisition so that you receive quotes from multiple vendors. You accept it or reject it and then update the price in your purchase requisition, and post which you will release a purchase order from it. So we will also quickly say that we will not get into the details of RFQ right now, but in the next episode number 5, we will discuss about a request for quotation. And also we will quickly understand about an important concept called demand consolidation in Dynamics 365 F&O. So first, let's get into the first process flow of PR to PO, but this time we are going to do this manually. Let me get into D365. Yep. So I'm in the purchase requisition screen. So if you're watching this video first time, probably I will recommend you to go to purchase requisitions part 1 and then come back to this part 2 so that we will be completely aligned to what we are discussing right now. So I have few requisitions. You can see some are in closed state, some are in interview. I've just created few purchase requisitions which are in approved state. So if you want to release this manually, first of all, you need to make sure that in the setup, if you go to policies under purchasing policies, I've just already created a policy. We will discuss about purchasing policies also as we progress in this procurement and sourcing series. There is a section called purchase order creation and demand consolidation. So click on the respective link, and then if you see, there is a tab called manual purchase order creation. So here we have enabled manually create purchase orders. Previously in the episode number 3 part 1 of purchase requisition, we have actually selected automatically create purchase orders. So make sure that you have a purchasing policy in which manual create purchase orders is enabled. And number 2 is like demand consolidation. You need to make sure that always allow demand consolidation has to be enabled, so that your purchase requisitions, whichever is approved, can be consolidated together. You can negotiate a better price with the vendors, and based on which you can process the purchase orders. Let me go back. So I will just quickly show you how to do this. I'll just retire this policy. Yes. Then click on create policy. So here, if you can see, you can also have the option to automatically create purchase order except under specific conditions. So you can also provide certain conditions, like if you want to have specific categories or specific vendors, if you want to do this manual purchase order processing, or if you want the specific categories during which you want to do this manual order processing, then you can very well do it. Right now we are just selecting manual create purchase orders, but you can always enable automatically create purchase orders. In those cases, the status of the purchase requisition, once it is approved, will be automatically updated as closed. In part 1 we saw that. So similarly, in demand consolidation also, you can provide specific conditions where allow demand consolidation under specific conditions. On a specific vendor, do you want to consolidate the purchase requisitions, or for all the vendors do you want to do the consolidation of the purchase requisitions? So you can also provide a specific categories. For example, in case of non-catalog items or external catalog items, whatever it is, you can provide either the grouping can be based on the procurement categories, or it can be based on the specific vendors. So you need to make sure that you have appropriate purchasing policy in place. So I'm just selecting always allow demand consolidation, And manual order creation also, I'm just enabling manually create purchase orders, so that every time purchase requisition is approved, I will go to the respective form and release the approved purchase requisitions, whichever is approved. So we save this, go back. So this is the purchasing policy which we created. So that's the only setup which you need to do. Now, what you have to do is under procurement and sourcing module, you go to purchase requisitions. There is a section called approved purchase requisition processing. So here we will see first the release approved purchase requisitions. Once you get into this form, in this form, you will be able to view only the purchase requisitions whichever is approved. So here already I have created a few purchase requisitions whichever is approved and moved it to approved status. So I can view those approved purchase requisitions over here. All other statuses of the purchase requisitions will not be available over here. So you will be allowed to release only the approved purchase requisitions. So if I want to release this one, all simply I have to do is I'll just click on, and then on the top of the action pane, there is a purchase order. Click on the purchase order. And then, yeah. So it processed a purchase order now. So this is a purchase order which is generated. So you can also configure a batch job to process this. So let me first show you the purchase order which is created. So you can copy the purchase order reference, and then here you can paste it and then identify the purchase order which is created. So this is the purchase order which is created from the approved purchase requisition. We manually released it, and so you can see the item number, quantity, and the price are just copied from the purchase requisition. So this is the first method. Next one is like if you want to create a PR, you create a PR and then you float the RFQs. The request for quote goes to maybe 2-3 vendors. They share the pricing to you, and based on price or discount or maybe lead time, you take a conscious call. And once that particular vendor quote is updated, you accepted it, then you fetch the price from the RFQ and then update it back in PR again. And then once again, we will follow the same process of approving it, and then you can release it automatically or manually. So that's what we are going to see now. So for that, I will just quickly create a purchase requisition. So on the top, let me click on new, and let me name this as PR test 9. So that's the format which we are following. Let me click on OK. So we will just follow the same process of adding a line. Let me add a line for items 4, C004. And I want to float a RFQ and then update the price over here. So right now you can see the unit price is 0. So I want 10 quantity. For 10 quantity, I want to get the price from the vendors. I will just remove this vendor account. Let me save. Once we click on save, then the workflow will be enabled. And once we submit it for workflow, then the request for quote option will be enabled for us. So this is the second process flow for probably the third process flow. The first process flow we discussed is converting the PR to PO automatically. And second thing is PR to PO through manual release process. Now we are discussing the third process flow where a PR will be processed after a request for quote is sent, and then updating the price. Right now you can see unit price, vendor account, everything is blank. So now let me go back to click on the request for quotation. So it will just show us the list of all the lines. So right now you can see it is also asking us to enter the buying legal entity, because we can have multiple legal entities lines over here. So that's the reason system is asking us to update. So we are in USMF. So I just want the lines of USMF. So and then select the line, and on the bottom you just simply click on OK button. So this will create a request for quote. So you can see on the top the request for quote ID. Just simply copy that. And now let us go back to the request for quotation form. You can right now see that the unit price, everything is blank, vendor account and vendor name, because we want it to be updated from the request for quote, which we are actually accepting it. So go to request for quotation form, click on all request for quotation. And here you can see 0036 is the purchase requisition, request for quote, which got created from the purchase requisition, right? And at any point in time in the header, you can also see the document title. This is from the PR test 09. So this is the request for quote. We will discuss about request for quotation probably in the next episode, details about how to create a request for quotation, what are all the types for which we can create a request for quotation, all those details. But in this episode, I'm just quickly creating a request for quote and flow, and we will not discuss in detail about it. Let's say I'm just sending quote for Acme of supplies, and then new supplier, let me select, and best supplier maybe. So I have just selected 2 vendors. I want to send this quote for procuring this item. What is the item? Yeah, live cam to 2 vendors. I will get the pricing from them. Whatever the lowest price, I will go ahead with that particular vendor. So that's the kind of strategy which I want to have. So now let me go to quotation, then click on send. Then click on OK. So these are the 2 vendors. So we are not discussing on this request for quote because the whole objective is to understand about the 2 process flows from PR. So do not worry about this. Continue to watch the episode number 5 where I will explain about the request for quote in detail. So I'm just editing the reply or RFQ reply. So let's say I'm just giving a price over here. Say I'm giving a price for 1 quote, and then so I'm submitting this bid. So once this bid is submitted, then I will submit the bid for the other vendor also. So this is for 104. I'm submitting the bid for 104 also. Now, okay, I'm just updating the price as 158. Okay, then that's fine. Now I'll submit the bid. Now, after submitting the bid, so now both the vendors have shared their quote to me. So as a purchasing manager, I just want to decide and go ahead with the lowest price. I know the quality wise, both the vendors are doing pretty good. So I just want to go ahead with this vendor which is offering at a lower price. So if I save it, then the compare replies will be enabled. So here you can see I have quote from 2 vendors. So I just want to go ahead with the vendor where I get a total amount of 1,500. So let me click on accept. Then it will post a accepting journal. So, and it will also ask us to post a reject journal. This is fine. Anyway, we will discuss about all these in details in request for quotation episode. So now what exactly happens is we created a purchase requisition, and from the purchase requisition, instead of directly approving it, we actually wanted to float the RFQ, and from the RFQ, we want to fetch the price and the vendor account. So now this is the RFQ which got accepted, and now if I go back, see this is the RFQ Acme Office Supplies. So in my PR, this should be the vendor account, and the price should be 150. So PR this is the document title. Let me go back to purchase requisition. So PR test 9, this is the purchase requisition. Let me click on it. So now if I see, you can see here the unit price got updated as 150, and previously it was 0. Now it has actually taken the price from the approved or the accepted request for quote and have captured it over here. And also the vendor account is Acme Office Supplies, which we actually accepted using RFQ. So the process is you create a purchase requisition, and then if you want to get price or quotes from the multiple vendors, you float a RFQ, and whatever the RFQ which is accepted, based on which the corresponding purchase requisitions will be updated. And once again, you can follow the same process of once you can approve this purchase requisition, and then once the purchase requisition is approved, then you can again follow the same process, whether you want to manually release it or if you want to automatically release it. Then based on your business specific use cases, you can decide on that. So that's the case number 2. Let's go back to the slide. So we discussed about 2 phases in this 2 kind of scenarios over in this video. And next important concept is called consolidation opportunities. First of all, we need to understand why we need to do demand consolidation. Because in general cases, sometimes the purchase requisitions are raised for the same item by multiple users. Let's say in your organization, the employees raises the purchase quote for computers or maybe some stationary items. So that is, if you are able to consolidate the demand, then you will be able to have a better negotiating power with your vendor. So that's the whole idea of about using demand consolidation in Dynamics 365. So what are all the advantages of using demand consolidation? Better pricing, lower shipping cost, because first of all, you are consolidating your overall requirement. The volume gets increases, so based on which you will have a better negotiating power. At the same time, you will be able to reduce the overhead cost. And talking about the eligibility, or I would say what is actually the prerequisites. So you need to have the PRs which are approved, because only the approved PRs are considered for your demand consolidation. And PR meets the purchasing policy rule criteria for manual processing and demand consolidation. So you need to make sure that if you want to have demand consolidation, the PR has to be both for manual processing. That's what we saw just now in this video. We have enabled manual processing for purchase order creation, and the demand consolidation also should be enabled. You can also have specific conditions for specific procurement categories or for specific vendors. You can also define those conditions only for those cases if you want to do a demand consolidation. And consolidation opportunity also, if you say the consolidation opportunity, set of purchase requisition lines, this is what you need to know. These are set of purchase requisition lines and not purchase requisition headers. So for each and every line, you will be able to group it together so that the purchasing professional can negotiate the best deal with the vendors. So, which is something, a fantastic feature which is available in Dynamics 365 F&O, because for each and every line across many purchase requisitions which are available in your system, you will be able to consolidate it, group it, and then negotiate for a better pricing with your vendor, or cash discounts, or a discount percentage which you can negotiate with your vendor, and update those prices in your purchase requisitions. And then in your purchase orders, and then create a purchase orders. Because for an individual purchase requisition, let's say, we will quickly see the scenario in the system so that you will also be able to understand this. Let me get back to D365. So the most important point here for the demand consolidation is we can use only the approved purchase requisitions. So for demand consolidation and the procurement and sourcing, click on purchase requisitions, and then if you go to approved purchase requisitions, then you have consolidation opportunities. So this is the feature which will help us to consolidate the opportunity and then negotiate for a better pricing with vendors. On the top, click on new. So here you can give a name like CAM consolidation. So that is the one we are ordering. So CAM console, if you want to change the currency date and the target end date for this particular overall consolidation opportunity, if you want, you can also add it. So let me just go ahead with the same. So this is the consolidation. First, all you need to do is you need to add the opportunities. Whatever the opportunities, you need to add it. Once you click on this add to opportunity, then you will be able to view all the approved purchase requisition lines. So that's what I have written in the presentation, that you see purchase requisition lines, all the line level detail, you will be able to view it over here. So now if you see here, for this particular CAM, there is a requirement for only one quantity. But if I am able to consolidate with the other requirements which I have, for example, overall for this live CAM HD 5000, that is a requirement for around 1000 quantity, maybe more than 1000, 1006 quantity is the actual requirement. So for one quantity, the price, the net amount is 1926. But when I go and negotiate with the vendor, I will say that I have a requirement for 1000 quantities of live CAM HD. Can you offer me a better price? So that's the whole idea of using demand consolidation or the consolidation opportunity. So what I'll do is I'll just simply add maybe the two lines, 500 and one quantity. I just want to add only these two lines. Let me click on OK. So those two lines are now added to our lines grid. So now here I can see the unit price of this particular item is 1926. But just because I have a demand for more than 500 quantity, I have negotiated a better price with the vendor. So how I'm going to do this is like, I'm going to select all, and then on the top we have an option called bulk edit. So just click on bulk edit, and then you can provide a requested date if you have a requested date, but I just want to change the unit price, because the unit price as per the purchase requisition is 1926, but because of the volume advantage, I had a better unit price, which is 7721 maybe. So this is the revised unit price which I got. And you can also provide a new cash discount. The vendor is also willing to provide me a cash discount of, let's say, um, 9 USDs. Fine, that's fine. So vendor is also willing to provide a cash discount. And if you want to change the vendor account, let's say after coming at this volume, we came to know that there is another vendor who is offering a better discount rate, also providing a cash discount. You can also update the vendor, even though you have already approved a particular vendor in your purchase requisition. So let's say, let me select a vendor over here. I think the vendor was acting, let me select Landy Packaging Supply. So they are willing to give me a better discount, 1002. And you also need to provide a consolidation quotation number, which is very important. So this is kind of acknowledgement number which you have received from the vendor. So, and you all have to click on apply to all lines. So this will simply apply the unit price, revised unit price, and then the cash discount 9 rupee, 9 USD, and then the vendor account in all your approved purchase requisition lines in the grid. So now you can see the unit price has changed to 1721. Instead, before it was like 1936 in some value, and now the vendor account is also changed. And you can also see a cash discount of 9 USD is applied. So this should be completely fine. So now I'll try to close the opportunity. Once you close the opportunity, then create purchase order will be enabled. So let me close the opportunity. You can also create the purchase order for specific lines by using the create purchase order in the line level, or you can also select all and then click on the top, the create purchase order, so that a single purchase order will be created for all the opportunities which you have selected over here. So let me click on create purchase order. So this will simply create a purchase order on the negotiated price 1721. So let's go to purchase order and quickly check that also. So 156, this is the purchase order. Yeah, let me go to procurement and sourcing, all purchase orders. So now if I go to the purchase order, you can see the appropriate pricing has been taken by the system based on whatever the pricing we updated in demand consolidation. So you can see the price has been updated, the discount has been updated also from the demand consolidation, and it has created correctly for Landy Packaging Supplies, even though this was actually created for a different vendor account. Now it has been changed while we consolidated the opportunity, and the purchase order is also created. Now from here on, I need to follow the same process of confirming the purchase order and proceeding for invoice, product receipt and invoice. So that's about demand consolidation. So we saw all the 3 process areas in purchase requisition, and I also explained to you about the basic fundamental definition of demand consolidation in Dynamics 365. And we'll also try to understand about the workflow, but I will always recommend you to go through this in detail, because there is a very good documentation which is available. And I find it to be very relevant in terms of whatever the scenarios given over here. I will share the link for this document from which you can download this particular white paper, and you can definitely go through this. And there are a lot of important areas in terms of how to configure your purchase requisition line workflow, and then what are all the different kind of mixed document level and line level purchase requisitions, how you can give it. So overall design and everything is being updated in this document. Feel free to go through those documents. I will strongly recommend you to go through this document. I will share the link for the same in description. So I think with that, we are coming to the end of this particular episode number 4, our purchase requisitions part 2. And in the next episode, we will be covering about the basics of request for quotation. I know in this episode, we just quickly covered the request for quotation, but in the next episode, we will go in detail about how to process the request for quotation, how to create a purchase agreement, also update the purchase agreements also from request for quote. We'll also see that. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel D365 Talks, and I will catch you soon in the episode number 5 in our procurement and sourcing series. Until then, Sriram Sivashankaran signing off.